As the regular season comes to a close, we're looking toward the playoffs, but we need your help. Palm Beach County Friday Night Football is seeking sponsors for postseason action, including the 14th annual All-Star Game on December 15th. Follow your team's road to the state finals on PalmBeachPost.com with all the coverage you've come to know from Palm Beach County Friday Night Football. To find out how you can be a sponsor, email us at PBCFNF@AOL.com. That's PBCFNF@AOL.com. Let's keep the season going. Palm Beach County Friday Night Football is brought to you by the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, the Miami Dolphins, Urban Youth Impact, and William Ward. Special thanks to Terrence Freeman, attorney at law, and Gator Leasing. And now, back to the game.
6-3.
Welcome back to second half action of the 2007 Muck Bowl. Dan Oliver here with Bill Bolander. And Bill, a dominating performance score-wise by Pahokee in the first half. Glades was able to move the ball, but some surprising stats. Pahokee 0 for 3 passing, and they didn't have to pass, actually.
No, they did the right thing. They came back and run the ball to the I formation. I think that's where their strength lies against this particular football team.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's pass those seatbelts back. Let's get ready for the second half.
And we're just about ready for the second half kickoff. That's Escobedo with a good boot's going to take it all the way back to about the 5-yard line. Scooping the ball up is Janoris Jenkins, and going across the right and making a pretty good return gets Pahokee up in business at the 30-yard line. And to say that this is an important series for the Glades defense would be an understatement.
As a coach, I really liked the first 5 minutes of the second half more than any other time of the game because the adjustments that you were able to make during that halftime, you probably could have put in about 7 different plays because the halftime was about 45 minutes. So kids got a good rest. And Jenkins going to the University of Florida, they're getting a heck of a player.
And just to mention halftime, it was worth the price of admission. That was a battle of the bands like few people have ever seen. So on first down now, the give is across the right side, but going nowhere. And I can't see who had the carry. There was Smith. Looks like Vincent Smith on the carry.
Yeah, Vincent Smith starts out tailback in the second half. I think Jenkins is being used so much on defense that they're kind of subbing those guys in, but I don't see much that they're losing with Smith in the game. He's a special talent too. What I did notice from Glades right here, Dan, was that they ran the linebackers to gaps, so they're taking some chances and just hope they don't break a big one on them.
All right, second down now. Shepard looking to throw, got a man, and breaks a tackle, and is going to be pushed out of bounds just shy of the 50-yard line. That looked like to be Martavius Odoms on the catch there, and that would be his first catch of the night because that's the first complete pass that Pahokee has thrown tonight.
Yeah, you go out and play defensive back one-on-one with these receivers, as Cardell Dunning had to do that time. He makes a pretty good play, but he loses his wrap-up, and the receiver gets down the field for about 15 more yards. It's a nightmare trying to play defensive back against the speed that is on the offensive team.
Anthony Shepard had 41 yards rushing for Pahokee in the first half. Vincent Smith, the leader, with 62 yards on just 7 carries. So Pahokee has been running the ball very effectively, and they look to go again here to Smith. He's only going to get about 2 yards on this one, just past the 45-yard line, or just past the 50.
Once again, Dan, the problem for Glades Central is not only the quickness and the ability of the tailbacks, it's the fact that offensive line is so big that those tailbacks get lost. And running the I formation, you never know where they're going to pop out from. A very difficult defensive task for Glades Central.
Well, one of the guys on Glades defense can handle the size. Jim Knowles, the nose guard, is 6'4", 328 pounds. Now the pass out to the right side here, and with the reception and a fumble, and Glades has got it. Glades got the ball back, a big break on the first drive of the second half, and boy, if Glades ends up winning this game, they might point to that play right there that got them back in it.
Artavius Dowdell gets the ball and makes a great fumble recovery because he does what he's supposed to do, get on the football. Actually, Pahokee had a first down, Dan, after the short screen pass to the wide receiver, but this is exactly what Glade Central needs. If they can go in there and punch one in, this will go down to the last minute of the last quarter. And
now this is interesting because we were talking about this earlier in the game. At quarterback now is number 10, Kentavious McCoy, who is the usual starter, but had suffered an injury last week and was questionable at game time. Now he's in and he hands it off around the right-hand side rather than Chisholm, but he is corralled and knocked backwards by that Pahokee defense.
Yeah, the Pahokee defense is so fast, and Artis Evans has really impressed me tonight. He's a defensive end that comes from the other side of the field and comes down the line of scrimmage, and once again, another guy that's got to be able to play at the next level. It just has a full motor all the time.
Well, his coach does call him a man among boys, so that should tell you something about the ability on this kind of a defense. When you're listed as that, you have to be pretty good. All right, second down now. McCoy in the shotgun. A little blitz here by Pahokee. Can he pick it up? No. He's going to throw the ball, though, and it falls incomplete. The intended receiver was Rantavius Wooten, who, by the way, is the only Glades receiver to have a reception tonight. He's got all 3 of the Raiders' receptions, 3 catches for 60 yards. Holly was 3 of 11 for 60 at quarterback, and Chisholm gained 53 yards on 6 carries, and Holly another 40 yards on 9 carries. So it's not as if Glades wasn't moving the ball, but they were not scoring points. So on, looks like 3rd and 12, up the middle goes McCoy, and he is going to have plenty for the first down. So Kentavious McCoy comes in and is giving this Glades offense a spark, able to do what the normally elusive DeAndre Holly couldn't do in the first half, is find some green space there.
Well, he got a pretty good defense to run against, though, Dan. He had a 3-man rush and to the short side of the field. What I would really like to see Glades do is bunch their receivers a little bit more and run more crossing routes, because Pahokee's in a lot of man coverage underneath. It's a 5 under, 2 deep coverage, and if they ran a little bit more crossing routes, I think they really would have more success throwing the ball.
All right, we've got a stoppage of play here, and there's a flag way back in the defensive backfield. See what the call is.
I think we got too many men on the field on Pahokee, Dan.
Yeah, that's what it would seem to be when the flag is way back there, and that's what it is.
Well, the umpire made the call. He was counting players. John Conacher, the referee, he can't count to 12, so he stopped at 11, and the umpire had to pick him up.
I assume you know this gentleman fairly well.
Yeah, we've had a few conversations on the field over the years.
All right, so 1st and 4 now for Glades. McCoy back, looking to throw, but he is hit and taken down, and there's also looks to be a flag on the play. One of the Glades, or is that a towel?
It's interesting, the difference between Holly. Here comes the replay, but he's got plenty of time to throw this ball, but Glades only had the 2 receivers out in the route, and the protection just breaks down. Number 13 for Pahokee, that would be Brandon Hawthorne, gets the sack. So we've got 2nd and 9.
All right. And McCoy trying to get his team back, but here comes some pressure. Is he going to get the ball off? He does. A dangerous pass that falls incomplete. Either that was a risky throw, or he knew exactly where he wanted to drop that ball incomplete.
Well, what Pahokee did at halftime, Dan, is they are running a little different scheme on their pass rush. And what they're doing is they're taking the 2 down tackles on defense and kind of stunting them to the outside, and they're bringing that safety up once in a while, and he came clean. So Glades is going to have to do something with their blocking up front, because Pahokee's creating way too much pressure on the quarterback.
Blaze Thompson said before the game that one of their aims was to get pressure on the Glades quarterback, and by that I assume that they meant McCoy. Now McCoy back, and he's got a man deep, and he's got it. A great catch there by Eddie Poole, And that's going to give the Raiders a first down inside the 20-yard line, and they are back in business just like that.
And the difference you notice, Dan, the ball was thrown a lot earlier before Poole actually made his cut. It was the post corner route. And actually, if he'd have thrown the ball a little bit more to the outside, that would have been a touchdown. But you can see the ball is going to be out of the quarterback's hands. And the receiver, Poole, makes a very good adaptation on the ball as he turns around. And as he's falling to the ground, makes the catch. So we're 1st and 10 in the red zone.
All right, on 1st and 10, the throw out to the sideline, and it looks like it's complete. That would be to Rantavius Wooten, and it is. So McCoy automatically giving this team a lift with his accurate throwing right away in the second half.
And this ball is from hash mark to hash mark, and you have to have some definite arm strength to throw that pass because it's super dangerous. The ball is in the air. I don't care who you are for a long time. Glades has got it going here, but this is where we've seen them bogged down in the past.
Exactly, in the red zone, 2nd and 8 now, trailing 13-3, and looking to get their first touchdown. The give is going to be up the middle, and a pretty decent little run there by looked like Antonio McLeod, and it was, yes.
McLeod gives him that same look that Smith gives Pahokee. He stays really low to the ground, and he's very difficult to find. And, you know, Glades needs to get 7 here. They really, really need the touchdown.
Well, they've got a 1st and goal now, ball on the 8-yard line. And let's see what they can do with it. McCoy, he's going to give it to Chisholm over the left side. Chisholm is going to get some tough yards. But, boy, I tell you, the Blue Devil defense there looking pretty angry. And those are some tough yards.
Yeah, that really were tough yards for Chisholm. But you know what? I like the way he runs the ball north and south, and they still get positive yardage here. And they're 2nd and goal from about the 6-7 yard line.
They're saying the 5 here. It looks more like the 6, but let's see if he puts it up and into the end zone. No, he's going to hand it off again. This time it's to McLeod, and McLeod, not much room there. Maybe got a yard and a half.
I'd really like to see him put, I know they're driving the ball with the present quarterback, McCoy, but I'd really like to see him put Holly in down here in the goal line, Dan, because I think he gives them a dimension of quickness, especially on the option play. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Do you see Holly on the sideline? I
do not, but right now a timeout, and that's called by Pahokee.
Timeout, Bluedevils.
Pahokee's got the middle bogged down. Every time they get inside the 10-yard line, Dan, it seems like Pahokee goes to a 6-man front, which really makes it difficult to run on the inside. I'd like to see him isolate McCoy out here on the perimeter and use his 6'4" height to go up and get the ball. It'll be interesting to see what Glades calls here because they really need the 7 points.
Well, and Glades also, has to be said, has some very talented receivers, including Travis Benjamin, who's a post-Super 11 preseason pick. They've got, obviously, Rantavius Wooten, who's been doing very well tonight. So you might think that they might try to get a favorable matchup there and see if they can play a jump ball and come down with it.
Yeah, Jenkins on number 3, Benjamin, is a great matchup here at the top of the field.
All right. McCoy taking the snap, looking to throw, and across the middle. Does he hold on? Yes, he does. Touchdown. And who caught that? Travis Benjamin.
Absolutely. And Jartavius Jack was all over and Dan on the goal line. They run the little slant route because they've run everything to the outside. But the quarterback, Benjamin, puts the ball right where it needs to be thrown. And this is the big score that Glades needed. Gets their defense psyched up. And after they kick the extra point, which I assume is going to be good, it's a 3-point ball game.
There's the snap, there's the kick, it is up, and it is good. And just like that, we've got a 3-point ball game here at Glades Central. The Raiders coming back to cut Pahokee's lead. And I don't want to brag or anything, but I did call that last play, did I not? Although he didn't throw a jump ball. He threw it nice and low where only Travis Benjamin could get it.
No, and I'll tell you what, Jenkins had him covered, Dan. The ball actually could not have been caught by anybody but the receiver.